Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's KETIV Autodesk Virtual Academy session. As usual, I'm Nigel and Bayek. Great to see you all here. Special shout out to a couple people, Alvin, hello from yesterday, and Jay Hood too from yesterday. If you guys are on the call, hello, and great meeting you both. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our session today. Today we've got two special guests. We've got um, solutions engineer here, Jonathan Kriek on the KETIV team, as well as special guest Loren Welch, who happens to be a project manager over at Autodesk. Um, at first, I didn't know what this topic was about, but Jonathan Kriek kind of introduced it a little bit to me, and hopefully we can share a lot of that information with you guys today as well. It's definitely very interesting, a great way to collaborate with some people, and a great way to share your designs. So if we can just jump to the next slide. Like I said, we've got Jonathan Kriek here from the KETIV team and Loren, who's also going to be here. So hi, guys. Anyways, let's go on to the next slide, Kriek. Perfect. So just letting you guys know, if this is your first Autodesk Virtual Academy session, welcome. If it's your first or 50th, welcome. To let you guys all know, every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, we do a bunch of topics ranging from things as simple as simple AutoCAD workflows to things in regards to automation. In between. Letting you guys know that a couple of upcoming sessions here we've got in the works are not in any particular order. CFD, we've got something really great coming about for that. So for those of you doing that, make sure to tune in. Vault Care 101, we had a live session or in-house session a couple of months ago with Rich Sanchez and Javier Chavez. We kind of showed a couple of people who visited KETIV, our headquarters here in Brea, how to take care of their vault, a couple of things to look into. We're actually going to do a live AVA that's going to be broadcasted to everybody, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And the Fusion 360 team is going to help us out here with a little bit of Fusion 360 CAM and how to get that taken care of from the perspective of the designer. Like usual, go ahead and ask any question you have in the questions panel on your GoToWebinar pane. Feel free to ask about anything, whether or not it's related to the session or not. We'll be able to answer it. If we don't get to it during the session, we'll get to it during the dedicated Q&A at the end. And if it's a little more involved, we'll definitely follow up with you afterwards if that's necessary. And so we'll get on with the agenda today. We're going to cover a couple of things. There's a few questions you might be asking. We'll definitely answer those. One, what is connected design? Whom is it intended for? Installation and enablement, participant versus collaborator, so like the roles that you're going to take here. Design share creation on which has since changed, I guess, a couple of the naming things, and the connected design workflow itself. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Loren Welch, again, project manager at Autodesk. So thank you for joining us today, Loren, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Nigel. As always, it's always great to participate in these events, so I thank you guys for inviting me. So one of the things we definitely wanted to talk about today as it concerns the Inventor connected design and what that really means. We released this functionality with the 2016 product release with our R3 update, and it really allowed our users to begin their collaboration sessions and how they work outside of their four walls of their company by leveraging A360 as a communication platform. And so what we've really tried to do is really find ways that the Inventor user can quickly and easily share concepts, designs, and ideas with supply chain, customers, suppliers, even other divisions of their own company. It's just a very quick, easy way for us to really enable this type of collaboration. And the most important thing is we're really leveraging a lot of the cloud technology that Autodesk is rampantly developing, both over the last few years and what we're doing in the future. One of the biggest things, because we're leveraging the cloud, is you can now collaborate with people that don't have a CAD tool, don't have a unique browser. There's nothing to install. They can simply use a mobile device. They can use any computer with a browser. So it really gives a lot of flexibility and really helps strengthen the collaborative process with many, many stakeholders. So a little bit deeper on what we're trying to do in a few screenshots. I know Jonathan's going to get into much more detail with the live presentation, but what we're really looking to really facilitate with Inventor Connected Design is really that ability to protect IP, but still open up this communication and collaboration as part of the design to help people innovate faster, to help them come up with new and better ideas. And we're talking about when you communicate with the end customer, ensuring that your designs that you deliver are really meeting the requirements that are really set forth. So it's really about time to market, it's really about communication and collaboration, and it's really about leveraging the AutoCAD or the Autodesk A360 platform. And one of the great things that we've seen is people, as we talk to customers around the requirements around collaboration, and Nigel had the poll up earlier, what are people doing today? We see a lot of screenshots, we see a lot of 2D PDFs, we see a lot of 3D PDFs coming out of Inventor 2017 now. We see screen sharing sessions. And all those things are great ways to give a static version of what the design is. But as people make comments or give suggestions, capturing the intent behind those changes sometimes can become lost. And so what Inventor Connected Design really allows for is a continual conversation or a thread that takes you from cradle to grave of why that change was requested, why the design changes were made, and why we got to the final result. So a really nice tool that I recommend you start using and taking advantage of. One of the things I really want to mention, and I know Chris Mitchell from Autodesk is actually on the session as well, is I really want to promote the Inventor beta program. And what I'm really talking about is tools like Connected Inventor, these connected design tools that we're building. We're constantly trying to find ways to give our users new tools, new functionality that meet the challenges and the problems they have today. But we're also trying to make sure that we get feedback early and often on as these projects evolve. You guys have seen it over the last few years that A360 as a platform is constantly adding new functionality. It's evolving and becoming better and better. And so the same thing happens with our desktop tools that are cloud connected, is they're constantly evolving. And so it gives you an opportunity to get an early look at some of the functionality and some of the direction we're putting in the product. And just as importantly, it gives you as an Autodesk user the ability to give your input on the direction we're going and help put your influence and your thumbprint on the product itself. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at the beta site. And Chris sent this to me earlier. I'm going to go ahead and post this to the entire audience in the chat session. It's a nice link if you don't have access to the beta site. Please go ahead and take a look there, and Chris can really help get you set up and on your way. One of the other things that we do from a customer standpoint is we like to do a lot of face-to-face events whenever possible. So KETIV is doing a great event in December. We call them our gunslinger events. It gives you as a user a chance to sign up, to come in, to sit down with the KETIV team, the Autodesk product team and product development and customer success teams, and go through and take a look at early release software. Sorry, I got a little bit of an echo there. And also get your hands on it and give us feedback on a lot of the functionality we're putting in. So hopefully that gives you a good high level of what we're doing from a collaboration platform standpoint with Inventor Connected Design, why we're doing it, and what problems we're looking to solve. But also, if you want to see the future of where it's going, I encourage you to take a look at the beta program and, of course, the Gunslinger events that we're hosting. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Jonathan, to dive into the software.
And just real quick, this from Nigel real quick. If you are interested in the Gunslinger event, that is going to be hosted here in Brea, California. And there's going to be a survey question at the end. If you do have some interest in it and you want to hear some more information as we get more, because we're still kind of figuring out everything, go ahead and say yes in the survey, and we'll make sure you get all of the updated information that you need. Also, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, if you do want to come to that Gunslinger event before December 6th, feel free to email me at nigel.umbayek@KETIV or at questions@KETIV. That will probably be a lot easier for more information. So with that, go ahead, Jonathan.
All right, thanks, guys. So I'm going to open up Inventor 2017. As we mentioned in the previous slide decks, this was introduced in 2016 R3, and it's native for Inventor 17. So the first thing, I've just got this the 6-speed sequential drive transmission up, and this is a pretty complex model. It's got a bunch of different components, a bunch of different subassemblies, and there's a couple different things that I may want to share with, as we mentioned in the previous slides and stuff, with my shareholders, with people that probably don't have access to Inventor or CAD tools, but I can also share it with people that do have those tools. So if they're signed in to A360, really through the Autodesk account, inside their Inventor, I can share that with those people, and so they're going to be able to collaborate from inside this. If I share it with people that don't have that, or really don't even have A360, when I share that with them, it's going to be through their email address. And so the email address will give them an invite so that they can connect to that design session. If they don't already have A360, then they can sign up for it. And this is working with A360 Drive. So if you don't see this icon in the bottom right-hand corner, sometimes I know people have come into Inventor, especially 17, and they've asked, so what is this icon down here? Should I use it? What is it for? This is really the interface for connected design. And then it works through A360 from there. But first of all, if you don't see this icon for some reason, you can go into your view, and that's up to your top panel up here. And if you look at your user interface, you'll see your common stuff like your view cube, your navigation bar, your browser. And right down here is connected design on A360. If you don't see this for some reason, most likely Inventor wasn't installed correctly. If there's an issue with your firewall, this is making an outside, JavaScript essentially connection, that you may need to, it'll give you a prompt that tells you there's a problem with that connection, and you'll most likely see this icon here, but it'll have like a broken line going down through that icon. But if you see the full icon like this and it has the little share icon, I'm just going to click on this, and right away I see a couple things. So I see what this event tab is, and this is really everything that's happened with my design shares that have already got out there. I'll see when people view the share, I'll see when people comment on the share, I'll see any type of markups and things that they've done. So it just gives me a nice history, and I can sort those events by the comments, by people that have viewed it. When I actually start a design share, it's keeping track of all that history. And even when I end a design share, so if I share this out with a bunch of people, they collaborate with it, I'm essentially done with it, I can go ahead and end that design share. It also shows me collaborators were added or removed from this session. On the next panel over here, I have my existing design share. So I do have one that's open, and I also have an archived one, and I just wanted to show you the difference. So this archived one is when I started. It's showing down in an archive tab. I can go ahead and minimize that if I want. But the existing design share I have open, I can see that I'm the owner of it, and I actually included, Nigel from KETIV here in this design session. If I want to go ahead and view that existing one, I can just click on it and open it up, and I'll go ahead and do that. And so this is for an existing one. So we were making some comments on, I asked if this would work for a 3.875 final drive, and Nigel responded with the exact part number. So that was an existing one that we've done. But what I want to show you first, before we get further into this type of interface and the different connected devices that you can use to participate in this design share, I want to go ahead and show you how we can go ahead and start a brand new design share. So there's a button down here that says design share this view. It's important that we understand why it's referring to a view, because basically how I have this model set up initially, including LODs, right? So if I want to, I'll go ahead and open this design share up, I'll kind of show you the differences. So it's going to give me this panel. It's automatically going to pull the title from my Inventor assembly. I can go ahead and add some comments in here to describe maybe why I'm creating a design share and what kind of feedback I'm looking for. And I have some options of, the current view of this assembly. I can include component names. So we're, just like if you're familiar with the WIFs and stuff, you can go in and you can tell it what exactly do you want to present to the users. Do you want to show the full parts list with the component names? Do you want to actually include your iProperties, your part properties? And down here we have the option to start adding some people to this design. But before I actually launch this design review, I just want to preview and see, without creating it, without heading and publishing it over to A360 Drive, I want to make sure that what they're seeing is correct. So I'm going to hit preview on this. And it takes a few seconds to go ahead and generate the preview. Especially with larger, models with a lot of components and stuff, it may take longer. And then it's going to pop me into that very similar interface that I just had. So I can go through and see that it's really showing probably a lot more detail that I want. But I want to show you some of the things that you can do with this. And this is just in the preview mode. So I can go ahead and explode the model. I can pull all those parts out. There's a lot of bolts and there's a lot of components here, and it's just a slider that's allowing me to explode all this stuff. I can go and rotate that around in real time to see, it's really every single part that relates to this thing. You have the model browser where you can essentially, this is what they're going to see, even without Inventor, they're going to be able to go down and look at the different types of components that are a part of this this design share. You have a lot of different options on the perspective that you're looking at, your zoom functions. This is pretty similar to looking through a DWIF or even some of the stuff that's available on A360. You have your pan, you have your rotates, your orbits, and things like that. There's a full property list. I don't really have any properties for this particular assembly, but you would be able to see that. You have your settings here, and this is, you can also do this when you publish it, but for a very large assembly, I might want to turn on performance optimization. I may want to look at smoothing the navigation, progressive model display. So these are things that will help with lessening, the load of the model essentially. Then there's also some visual things. I generally don't play too much with this. If I want to turn off shadows to make it a little bit easier to see certain things, I can do that. Maybe turn off the ground shadow. And you have a bunch of other type of environment variables here. So I would encourage that when you guys get into this, that you start playing with those things and finding out what makes, for different models, it's going to probably be different. So this, seeing this preview as is, I already can realize or start to see that it's showing a lot more than I really want to see. It'd be nice if they could, explode it out and everything, but what I really want to do is I want to focus in on this main housing. So what I've done is I've just created a level of detail called main case. And so if I click into that main case, it's going to go through and hide everything else, essentially suppress everything else that I don't really care about. So this is really just kind of the empty case that I want to use. It's probably going to be a lot less to load and things like that. So I'm going to do the design share again, and if I want to, I actually have gotten so familiar with this that I don't use the preview option a lot of the times. Once I've got a level of detail set, I pretty much know that it's going to come, straight away. So I can enter the email addresses here before I start the design share, or I can go ahead and start the design share and add people in later. So if I wanted to add Loren and Nigel here, I could do that, but I'm just going to go ahead and start the design share itself. So it's going to give you a progress bar down here. It's actually sending it over to A360 Drive. It's telling you that your share is now up on A360, so I can kind of close that. So now I have this brand new design share. I can go ahead and open it from here inside Inventor. And there's some background processing that's still happening with the graphics and stuff for, you know, on the A360 side. Loren, have you ever got no viewable content?
No, you just need to process it on the A360 side. Just give it a minute there. If you want to add some users, it might be a good thing to do.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and add some users to this. And so really it works by email address. So the first one I'm going to add is, I'm going to add Nigel in here, and I'm just going to copy and paste. It already kind of sees his user because I've added him before. And then I'm going to go ahead and add Loren in there. And then I'm going to save changes. So again, they're going to, you know, it says 2 collaborators have been added. They're going to get notifications. You know, if they're already signed into A360 and Inventor, they would get the notification directly within here. If they don't, or they're still going to get an email that tells them that they can participate in this design share. So what I'm going to do while this thing is still processing is I'm going to switch over to my browser here. And I'm going to go to my A360 Drive, and I'm going to go into the Inventor design shares. It creates a specific folder for these design shares. And very similar to what I saw in you know, Inventor, I can see the design shares that I've done. So this one was done 3 minutes ago. I can go ahead and click on that, and it's going to still give me you know, a very similar view. And it looks like it's still processing for the view. But the things that I have available, just like if I had it inside Inventor, is I have this comment section where I can begin to start adding. There it goes. Now it's finally rendered up. So I see my model now. I have the same controls that I had for Inventor. I can't really explode anything because, you know, this is just a single part essentially. But I still have my navigation views. I'm going to switch over to my activity. So as you can see that whenever I'm viewing it, it's showing me. Loren's viewed it. Nigel has accepted it. Loren has accepted it. So I'm just going to start putting in some comments, and as they get connected to this design, we're going to see their comments show up either, you know, in this session with the browser or the session with Inventor. So. So this is kind of what it looks like. It gives you an actual date and time here. It'll kind of do a hierarchy. So they could actually go and respond to this. There's Nigel. He says, hi, AVA viewers. Loren is saying, looks good. When are we moving to production? I could reply directly to that and say, you know, soon, trademark. That's right. That's what we generally say. It kind of keeps us all together. Now, what if, you know, Nigel, you know, wanted to do a markup of say, well, you know, I think that, you know, this opening or something in the middle here needs to be addressed, or maybe I can add that, you know. So let me switch back over into the Inventor session. I'll switch back over to my events. So very similar. It's very similar to the browser, and I want to show you guys. You know, we talk about how this session is you know, on A360. It's available anytime, anywhere. You know, from any device essentially. I'm going to switch over to my iPhone, and let's see what it looks like from the iPhone section of this. So I'm essentially using just an iPhone mirror, but everything's being controlled on my iPhone. So as soon as I connect to this, now I'll see what my iPhone is actually looking at. And so very similar, I'm going to go to my A360. I'm going to go into my A360 Drive, and I'll look at the one, you know, since I did a previous one with pretty much the same name, I can see the one that was, you know, essentially started about 6 minutes ago. And I think this is probably the coolest thing ever. That, you know, it's one thing to say that you can access these things from a browser. You can access it from directly within an Inventor with different options and things. But I'm on an iPhone. Maybe I'm in the field and I don't even have an iPad. Maybe I just have my mobile device with me, and I need to see what the share involves. To be able to make comments. I can take screenshots of each session. Go ahead and save that back to the project. Put some comments on it. I have some really great markup tools. I can point to things. I can highlight certain things. I can, essentially circle certain things. So it's like, general markup tools inside here. I could put, the actual text directly on this, add markup text into this, and then save it back to the project. So I think that's really cool that, you're really not limited by your device. Now, what is a little bit different, I'm going to switch back over into Inventor. Just want to make sure that we're aware of kind of the possibilities with depending on your device. So again, when you're inside Inventor, you're going to receive a notification that you've been added to a design share in a connected design session. You can view the design share events in the design of the A360 panel. You could do that on your device. You can do that from the A360 Browser. To participate in a design share as a collaborator, you have to click in the email request that you'll see. And just so you guys know, at the end of this session, we're going to try to get you guys, everybody that's participating on this session, involved in a design share. It may be this design share we're looking at now. It may be a different one. But you guys are going to see and be able to experience this yourselves and kind of collaborate with us. So when you get that type of invite, I'm going to switch back over to my browser and go back to my design share. So this is where it looks like on my session. So I can filter by things that are owned by me. What's going to show up on your guys once you accept the invite is it's going to show up on your A360 Drive shared with me, right? So you'll only see that popping up here, unless it's shared publicly or something like that. But it'll most likely show up in your shared with me. Once you click on that, then you'll be tapped right into it. And again, if the other workflow that you may see is if you're inside Inventor and you're already signed into A360, then you'll get a response in here that you've been added to it. So you'll see something in your event history. Is there anything, Loren, that you wanted to add to this workflow and the capabilities?
No, I think you've showed the overview really well. I think the biggest thing to realize here is you've shown it, but if you're an Inventor user, as you're designing and you're looking for quick feedback, you're getting that feed constantly giving you the feedback, and if you need to go to the view that Jonathan's doing now, you can instantly see comments in a bit more detail if need be, and then it really allows you to make those design changes directly on the model while you're in your design environment. So it really helps streamline the workflow without having to jump in and out of a bunch of different tools. So good job, Jonathan.
Okay. So I'm going to switch back over to Nigel here.
And just to let you guys know, please do share any questions you have in the questions pane. Definitely, we have a couple of them, and we'll go ahead and answer them. If you do need to reach out to us further, go ahead and email us. Our emails are both on the screen, Jonathan, Kriek, and myself. If you need Loren's email, we can provide that to you. And then go ahead and give us a call if you have any questions as well at the number below. So with that, we have a couple of questions. The first one was, where is the upcoming Gunslinger event? I can go ahead and answer that one. So the Gunslinger event is going to be on December 6th. I'll turn my camera on again. 1 second. It's going to be December 6th here in sunny, I guess not too sunny today, Southern California, in Anaheim/Brea area. If you're not familiar with that, we're kind of next to the mouse at Disneyland. So that's that. Another question we have here is from Jeremy. Can you go over why you might have a broken share link again in the lower right of the Inventor window? He has a broken link and does not show the sharing.
The most common issues we've seen that with customers is due to some proxy settings and things like that, where you're not able to get connection to A360. So that's something where you're probably going to want to reach out on the technical support side.
Definitely. And if you need help reaching out, Jeremy, feel free to let me know, and we can get you into contact with some of the support guys, either here at KETIV or at Autodesk. David has got a couple of questions. The first one is, will this work with DWGs, DWGs?
So right now it's just the part and assembly environments inside of Inventor. We're the highest priority based on customers and user feedback as we develop the tool.
Definitely. And
so,
yeah,
but we are looking to expand into different environments.
Great. And then another question from David is, can you measure in the model, I guess from the browser side of things?
So the answer to that one is we intentionally turn that off based on customer feedback around IP protection. So as we continue to develop this functionality, we're getting feedback around some of the different levels of control people would like, but measure being disabled was a high priority for a lot of the users when we first developed it.
Definitely. And then this is a question that I was going to ask too, or I figured that people would want to ask, came from David as well. How do you update the model changes? When you update the model in your Inventor, what happens to the people on the browser?
So what happens is you're actually publishing a viewable. So because of the IP concerns a lot of our customers had, we're actually converting the Inventor CAD 3D data to a visual file form and then sending that up to A360. So you're not actually sending any of your IP from a CAD perspective to A360 with this workflow today. And so because of that, it's a snapshot of that model in time. So if you do model updates, you have to do another publish so they can see that the changes have been made. So you end up with, you can see the history of visualizations that are created based on model changes. So I hope that answers the question.
Definitely. So you have a couple of versions as you do make some changes within the model themselves. And that's all going to be in the same design share, correct, Loren?
Because we are currently pointing this to A360 Drive, it doesn't allow for multiple files with the same name. So you have to version them manually. I would say I would encourage you to take a look at the beta program and what we're doing with this set of functionality going forward. I think it would help answer a lot of the questions that David just put up there. Is the subtlest way I'll put that.
Definitely. I don't think we have any more questions. If you have any last-minute questions, I'll give you 10 to 15 seconds to go ahead and type those in. Again, these sessions are all recorded, and they'll be on YouTube shortly after the session. So hello, YouTube viewers. With that, I think we're done for the day. If you guys do want to go ahead and connect with us, here are all of our social media links and everything. If you need to reach us, again, you can go ahead and give us a call or email. I guess the easiest way to do it would be questions@ketiv.com if you don't know which resource you need. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have a couple of upcoming sessions, not necessarily in order, but these are the ones that are on the calendar for upcoming weeks. We have CFD simulation, Vault Care 101, which is highly requested by everyone, and then Fusion 360 CAM. You're going to be receiving a survey after the session closes. Please do ask that you do fill that out. We definitely take all of those into account. And the biggest field that I think in there is kind of important is the request future sessions. Most of these sessions are come to fruition because of requests from our customer base and our viewer base. So please go ahead and make your opinion known. We'll definitely put such suggestions higher on the list of things to do. And with that, I'd like to thank Jonathan Kriek and Loren Welch for being here today. Thank you guys for taking the time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
And with that, I have no silly quotes to leave you with today, so adios, everyone.